Giulia. It's replaced the trusty Volvo, which I'm going to miss, strangely enough. I quite like having a banger about. So this is an Alfa Romeo Giulia Veloce. It's a 2-litre 4-cylinder, 280 horsepower. I think it's 300 pounds-foot of torque, but not 100% on that. So it's an 8-speed automatic with paddles. It's Monza red. It's not a very popular colour, but I like it. I think it's really classy. It's really overcast today. In the sun it really pops, as they say, but when it's dull it looks like it's a solid colour. It doesn't even look metallic, but it is very bright in the sun. Yeah, so as I say, this is to replace the Volvo, which has just given us fantastic service. Right, sad day for the Volvo. I'm afraid the Volvo's going. It has been a really trusty vehicle for us, taken us all over Europe, lots of towing. It's got 147,000 miles now, but it's been a really good car, still a really good car. And yeah, this is the final farewell. Right, bye bye Volvo. It's been a real workhorse. I'm not quite sure how we're going to load this one up. Yeah, it's just got the panoramic roof. It opens. Rear camera. Hopefully we'll get some decent weather soon to get out and give it a bit of a proper drive. Not a massive fan of privacy glass, but it does look quite good and sleek from the outside, and it ties in with the panoramic roof. So there's a manual blind on the rear, and the front blind is electric. So it has the leather dashboard, which I really like. Yeah, so you get it on the door cappings as well. Some paddles. And that's solid aluminium, which is nice. So I really like the finish on the wheels. It's sort of satin, slightly textured gunmetal, and the brake calipers are pretty substantial. So I'm hoping to not have to be under here too much. Right, so we have replaced the trusty Volvo V70, an ancient 2008 car with 147,000 miles on it, with this Giulia. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes. The Volvo wormed its way into my affections, I must admit. It was quite dull to drive, but it was supremely comfortable. Yeah, we did lots of long journeys in the Volvo, including taking it to Croatia, the caravan on the back, fully loaded up, and it never let us down. This is obviously quite a bit different. I hope it pays off. As I say, this is the family kind of do everything workhorse. Yeah. Yeah, so it's a totally different proposition. The Volvo is very relaxing, super easy to drive. So my main criticism of the Volvo was the gearbox. It was incredibly slow to change, very dim-witted. Yeah, it would take ages to change gears sometimes. There was nothing wrong with it. I've driven them before. That's just the way they are. Yeah, so obviously this is dynamically very different to the Volvo. Automatic with the paddle shifters. The paddles are incredibly responsive. I don't really have experience of these kind of things, but yeah, as soon as you click the paddle, you get the gear. But it does everything else well when you just want to be in automatic mode, which I imagine I'll spend 90%, if not more, of my time in auto. But it's nice to have the paddles just to try and have a bit more engagement. I prefer a manual, and if this was my only car, I'd have to have manual. Hopefully this will kind of be the best of both worlds, the automatic but with the paddles. So it seems to handle really well. I've only had it a few days, hardly driven it, so I don't want to push it at all yet. The weather conditions aren't great, but yeah, it seems to handle really well. The turning is crazy. So the brakes seem very powerful. The modulation is a bit tricky though, especially at lower speed. They're brake by wire. And the pedal feels good. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how we get on. I've done lots of research, and these Alfas seem to have a pretty good reputation. It seems to mostly be small electrical glitches. A lot of it to do with the battery. The battery being in the boot, there's quite a long run for the cable. I think maybe some voltage drop issues. I think keeping the battery terminals free of corrosion. And the occasional trickle charge really helps out with that. Massive pothole. In auto mode it seems to do a pretty good job with the gear selection. I was thinking that with 8 gears it will get itself into a muddle, not know where it is, and changing down 2 or 3 at a time, but it seems to do it really well. It's really well judged. Potholes, potholes, potholes.
Potholes, potholes, potholes.